Welcome to Outfits Garage. On this episode, I'm going to show you what I did to try to increase the oil flow for my 05 Chevrolet 5.3. We have an oil pump right here that I've pulled out of another engine that I've torn down, and I'm going to show you how to increase the oil flow using a stock oil pump. This oil pump right here looked brand new on the inside, had no scarring, had no wear, everything looked great, but it had a lot of edges and flashing and things of that nature that the manufacturer didn't clean out. And these portholes where this oil right here that I'm working on it, where the oil would go into the engine, was all cluttered up, if you want to put it that way, with angles and sharp edges and all of that. All I'm doing here is taking a Dremel tool with a rock. I didn't, at first you've seen me using a drill with a pretty aggressive bit, and all I was doing with that was taking the major sharp edges off and getting the initial shape. And what I'm doing with this Dremel, I'm using these rocks. They're very forgiving, if you will, on this aluminum. They don't take out much material at a time. Now you'll have to, if you use these type rocks, if you'll notice on the head of these rocks, I'm having to change them out every little bit because that aluminum loves to build up. But all I did was shape everything into a smooth pattern going in to where the oil would go into the engine. I did the same thing on the side where the oil would come out of the oil pan through the pickup tube. There were some sharp edges there. I did the same thing on the entrance side as well. I've got this pretty well shaped up. After I took the rocks, I took that little sandpaper wheel and kind of smoothed everything up, slicked it up, made it a lot smoother so that it would transition a lot smoother and faster. Now use brake clean or a parts washer or whatever you may have to clean this thing very thoroughly. Those shavings will be everywhere. You might recognize that emblem right there. That's Briggs & Stratton. They make the oil pumps. How about that? After that, we take and pull out the pressure spring, the bypass spring and valve here, because with all the grinding and everything, you want to make sure that you get everything good and clean. And I'll show you why right here. Aluminum shavings were everywhere up in this bypass tube. So make sure that you get it really good and clean. Wash it and wash it and wash it again thoroughly. I'm telling you, wash it thoroughly because those shavings will be everywhere. Once you get it all clean, lube everything back up, put your pressure spring back in, and I put a little nut in behind this, around 100 thousandths, maybe just a touch more on here to give us some more oil pressure. I've looked at a lot of videos and learned that around 100 thousandths should give you around 50 pounds of oil pressure at cold idle. We will see about that just as soon as I get this other oil pump out of my 5.3. I'm going to work on that hopefully Tuesday night and probably Thursday night. But now it's time to reassemble this, and I've put some lube in here. I don't put a lot of oil in here. I'm just lubing it just enough so that everything will go back together good and smooth. I plan on doing a little bit more here when we get ready to install it, because everything that I've learned says that you have to use about a 2,000 shim on these things on each side, and I'll try to go into that if I can think about it whenever I go back together with this motor. But anyway, all I'm doing here is just lubing everything up and reinstalling the pump gear, so it should be pretty nice going back together. Again, I don't use a lot of oil because it'll just make a mess trying to handle the oil pump, and when you pick it up it would run out and all of that. So just using enough oil to lube everything up, make it smooth until I could get ready to reinstall this oil pump in the engine. So again, I plan on doing that probably Tuesday night, possibly Thursday. Wednesday nights we're usually in church, so I don't have time to work on anything at that time. So we are reinstalling the cover at this time right here. I'm not going to tighten it super tight because, like I say, once I go to install this on the engine, I'm going to recenter everything, and all I'm doing here is just snugging these down very lightly, nothing hard. Don't hammer these in. Even when you're ready to be done with it, do not hammer them in. There is a specific torque spec for this, and I will do my best to try to bring that in on the next video when we install this on the engine and show the results of our upgrade on this stock oil pump. Okay guys, we're out of time, but remember, we've got t-shirts. Contact us on that, and I hope this has helped you some way, somehow. Tune in next time to watch us install this oil pump on Outfits Garage.